Amy Wilkinson is a Wilson Center Global Fellow and the author of this new book, The Creator's Code, The 6 Essential Skills of Extraordinary Entrepreneurs. Amy, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on the completion of the book.
Thank you very much.
I want to take you back 5 years or back to the 70s. I don't know. And when you first started the project, what were you hoping to learn about entrepreneurs? What did you first set out to discover?
Well, there were lots of different pathways on this. I first set out thinking it was a next generation skill set. And then the age cap came off. So I decided it doesn't really have anything to do with age. It has to do with a mindset and a skill set. But when I first set out, I thought that there might be an under 40 criteria. I thought there might be, something different with the millennials, something different with the next generation approach.
And did your concept of who or what an entrepreneur is change in the course of your research?
I think that that's a good question, but I don't know if it changed. I think it's very pliable. So I think that you can be an entrepreneur in a big organization, you can be an entrepreneur in a nonprofit. The definition, and in this book we're featuring business founders, right? So someone who starts and scales a company over 100 million in revenue is the criteria for the Creator's Code. But I actually think the lessons apply in almost any context.
Does that surprise you? Did you think maybe before that entrepreneurs are born, but they can't be made?
Well, it's the nature-nurture question, right?
Yeah.
I feel very, very strongly that it's something, some people will have proclivities where they're more inclined at age 5 or 7 or 12 to start the lemonade stand, right? But that all of us could the skills are learnable and teachable. So all of us can be entrepreneurs. I think it's a learned skill set.
And a very useful construct. You've distilled this to 6 essential skills. And I'm
Right.
wondering, at what point, 200 interviews?
That's right, 200 interviews.
At what point did a pattern start to emerge?
Gosh, well, so 200 interviews over 5 years and 10,000 pages of transcripts, 5,000 pages of academic studies reviewed, 4,000 pages of extra kind of annual reports and other materials. And so with that, it took quite a lot to distill down from originally thinking there were maybe 42 certain common themes that were repeating. Then I thought there were more like 20 in the 20s. Then it narrowed back down to what I thought looked closer to 12 or 15 repeated patterns, and all the way down to 6 skills. So it's got a grounded theory methodology, which is a sociology-based methodology behind it, but it took quite a few different distillations to come down to a theory of 6 skills.
Will all that material be available in any formats? Will we see video of your interviews? Will any of that?
There are videos of certain interviews, and certainly there are transcripts that can be released. I don't think anyone would want to see all of the material, but at some point there is a huge amount of content behind the project, so yes.
What about personality traits? I'm guessing they were more of a variable and not as consistent as 6 essential skills. Can an introvert be an entrepreneur? Does it take an extrovert? Did you learn anything in that regard?
Well, I didn't do scientific research on personalities, right? I would say that there are a whole range of personalities that I met along the way. Some people are introverts, some people are extroverts, some people are convergent thinkers, some people are divergent thinkers, some people are women, some people are men. Across cultures, there are different biases that people bring, or across disciplines. Some people are engineers, some people are artists, so I think that there are lots of different ways you can approach entrepreneurship. The 6 skills here are universal, so they cut across and they're a lot more actionable. So they're less about personalities and they're more about what could you actually do to spot an opportunity, find a gap, or what could you do to fail wisely and be resilient, regardless of the entry point.
Is there a hierarchy to the skills, or is it you just need a little bit of all of them?
So you need all 6.
Yeah.
So we will have probably natural tendencies to be better at 3 or 2 or 4 of these, and then we'll have to learn and hone and practice a couple of the other skills. But the big aha in the book is that you need all 6 and they need to come together. When they come together, that's when these $100 million companies really take off.
The one that I want to focus on for a moment is the one that we all hear about, but it's hard to process when you look at successful people of this level, and that's the notion of failure as being part of the formula. Tell us about that.
Sure. So every one of the entrepreneurs that I interviewed talked about failure. The idea is that you don't want to fail catastrophically, right? You want to have small incremental failures along the way. You want to set a failure ratio, is how I'm describing it, where you actually want to get it wrong a certain percentage of the time. So you feel
because you
comfortable.
learn from that.
Well, of course you learn from it, but also because if you actually have a perfect record, you're probably not trying something new. You're probably not innovating. So it's a very different approach than thinking you want to be a 4-point student. That is not the idea of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur will be a little bit rough around the edges. You will be getting it wrong 20% of the time or 30% of the time. That would be your ratio of saying, hey, that's actually what I'm striving for. Because if I have a perfect record, I left something on the table. I just
Learning to
didn't
fail well.
experiment. Right, right.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate takeaway if someone reads this book? What are you hoping? Are you hoping to create a template for new entrepreneurship?
The ultimate takeaway is that entrepreneurship is accessible to everyone. So there is not a certain class of people. It doesn't require a certain credential. You didn't miss the boat if you didn't start a company when you were 20 years old or even 40 years old. The idea is that you can start anytime, and with these 6 skills, they can apply in any context.
Well, thank you, Amy. Terrific book, and
Thank
best of
you.
luck with it and
Thanks
with the
very
book tour.
much.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.